Hey guys, it's Megan and welcome back to our What's in a Name series. Today it is our second installment of the series and we're going to be talking about the Edgson family. So this may not look a bit like the museum. Today we are in the northwest corner of the Dungannon Cemetery at what was formerly known as the Edison settlement. Charles and Fanny Edgson were originally from Thessalon, Ontario, and they had 6 children: Jack, Charlie, Arthur, Frank, Annie, and Lena. And they had big dreams for coming out west to settle. Their 3 boys, Jack, Charlie, and Arthur, came out west and they worked in lumber camps within British Columbia and Oregon. But they had big dreams about coming and starting up homesteading within Alberta. So they took the train and they landed in Edmonton, and talking to a group of settlers and pioneers, they heard rumors of this rich land called Little Grand Prairie that's about 50 miles north of Edmonton. So Charlie took a trip with a group of Scotsmen to come and survey the area and scout ahead, while his brothers stayed behind to collect animals and supplies that they would need for homesteading. They selected what would be later known as the home site for their father and put it in his name, and then each brother took a corner of a section. And they originally started building on another Scotsman's property before starting and building the home for their parents. And in 1902, their father, their mother, and Lena and Frank moved out. They took the train from Ontario and they came out west. So, where did it get its name from? Edgson can be a little bit hard to pronounce, but the first building that was built on this site was the home site for Charles and Fanny. And they were what was known as like the parents of the settlers. And Fanny was originally known as the mother of all the settlers, as she would welcome her home to those who were visiting the area, as their son, Jack, welcomed them as a land guide. He was appointed by the province to introduce like new settlers and new pioneers to the land area and take records of whether or not they would choose to homestead. Edison became a thriving community with a school and a church and a variety of businesses. But when everyone was coming here and they would deliver mail, their names would be misspelled. So there was variations of Edson or Edison or Edgson, and it later became Edison because it was the easiest to pronounce. In January of 1907, Charles Sr. passed away of kidney failure, and a week later, the original home site in the home of him and his wife was caught on fire, and Fanny, in an attempt to go in and save the deeds for the lands, passed away the day later because of her burns. You may recognize the name of Edgson, but we're going to talk a little bit about the kids. Jack and Isabella had 3 kids. They had a son named Frank and twin daughters, Fanny and Jenny, who you may recall the names of from our first installment of the series. Jack, when he lived in Ontario, was known as a baker, and he passed along his creative ingenuity to his daughters, who were well known in the area for their role in decorating wedding cakes. Arthur was known as one of the best square dance callers because of his jovial spirit and his bright and welcoming voice. And Charlie had big dreams of continuing up north. He settled here for a while and then he continued on to Peace River County, and he died in 1938 of poor health. Lena married a gentleman of the last name Gibson, and they farmed in the Hay Creek area south of Clyde for many years before continuing on to the Peace River County and settling in Fairview. So if you ever want to come and check out the original site, there are landmarks along Highway 18 that you can see a little bit of Alberta's history and see where the Edison settlement was, and see if you come and recognize the names. The original schoolhouse and church is still standing, and when you come and see, much of the area that the buildings would have been is still a bit sandy. And yeah, so if you are curious to know more of the background about different people in Westlock, stay tuned. We have more videos coming and we can't wait to see you soon.